exercises on page 5 of your workbook.
Yeah!
And with her first ever appearance at Paris Fashion Week.
Paris was supposed to be her ultimate comeback moment. The flashing cameras, the shimmering gowns, the world's fashion elite watching her every move from the front row. This was Meghan Markle's grand re-entry into the upper echelons of glamour and influence, a stage set for applause, admiration, and a triumphant return. But instead of cheers, what Meghan got next was something pulled straight from her worst nightmares. South Park. Yes, again. The iconic, savage animated show dropped a brand new episode that tore her Paris Fashion Week appearance to shreds, and the fallout? Absolutely brutal.
Okay, what are you doing?
Relaxing.
Reports claim the Duchess of Sussex was left in tears, questioning how it could have gone so catastrophically wrong. Again, let's rewind a bit. The world had barely recovered from the chaos of Meghan's infamous Jam Gate and her short-lived wine brand flop when she appeared in Paris, draped in a cream ensemble screaming old money chic, trying to signal, "I'm back." She was sending a message loud and clear. Meghan is back. The palace can't silence her, the press can't break her. And Hollywood, well, she was ready to charm it all over again. But while she strutted confidently through the event, there was a storm brewing, not in the front row, but in the secretive chaos of the South Park writers' room. Insiders revealed that Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the notorious masterminds behind the animated Chaos Machine, had been quietly plotting a follow-up to last year's viral Privacy Tour episode, the one that sent Meghan and Harry's PR team into a meltdown. Only this time, nothing was off limits.
I'm sick of hearing about them, but I can't get away from them! They're everywhere! In my face! Look, Kyle, we just kind of don't care about some dumb prince and his stupid wife.
The new episode, titled The Duchess of Desperation, aired just days after Meghan's Paris appearance, and it was merciless. It featured a cartoon Duchess, wearing a near-identical beige outfit, strutting through Paris Fashion Week while waving dramatically at imaginary photographers as the crowd yawned and ignored her. She wasn't actually invited, of course. The episode's tagline hit hard: "When relevance calls and no one answers." If it's truly what we want, then we really can get away from it all. No more magazines, no more Netflix shows. And that's where the uproar began. From London to Los Angeles, social media exploded like wildfire. Clips from the episode flooded X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit, racking up millions of views in mere hours. Hashtags like #SouthPark, #Meghan, and #Duchess of Desperation trended for 2 full days straight. Even worse, the internet began stitching Meghan's real Paris clips alongside the cartoon version.
From when he worked at Valentino. They always keep moving around. And front row seats, he was chatting up with Anna Wintour of Vogue.
Facial expression and hand wave to the exaggerated parody. And in every comparison, the resemblance was uncanny. South Park didn't even need to exaggerate. One TikTok joked, "She did it for them." For Meghan, who had hoped Paris would soften her image and charm European fashion houses, it was a crushing blow. Sources close to her told tabloids she was heartbroken and humiliated. Reports suggest she broke down in tears seeing the episode trending, saying she felt mocked on a global stage. But here's the kicker: South Park didn't just target Meghan's fashion choices, they went after her entire brand. In one ruthless scene, the cartoon Duchess sits front row at a fictional fashion show called Virtue Verité, a savage parody of Meghan's authenticity branding. Ignored by designers and influencers, she pulls out a notepad and scribbles new ways to appear relatable. Her first idea, start a podcast about not being understood. Her second, launch a fashion line made entirely from recycled headlines. Ouch! The cartoon even skewered Meghan's real-life deals, referencing her Spotify fallout, Netflix delays, and endless rumours about her upcoming lifestyle brand. At one point, her animated assistant delivers the ultimate burn. "Your podcast about vulnerability has been cancelled." Again, the audience howled. Meghan, not so much. Sources in Montecito claim she was devastated, furious at the show's creators, calling the episode cruel and misogynistic. Harry, the ever-dedicated defender, allegedly wanted to consult lawyers and explore legal options. Legal experts quickly pointed out that satire is protected and South Park thrives on controversy. Yet behind the outrage, there was something deeper striking a nerve. Meghan's carefully crafted image had already been wobbling under the weight of failed projects and dwindling public sympathy. Now, mocked once more by the very show that had once helped tank her credibility, the blow felt almost symbolic, a full-circle nightmare. One insider told Page 6, "It's Meghan's worst fear made real. She built her identity around being taken seriously, around being seen as powerful and misunderstood. But South Park turned her story into a running joke. And to make matters worse, even Hollywood didn't rush to defend her. When the first South Park parody hit last year, a few A-listers had subtly shown sympathy, some tweeting about bullying, some about unfair media treatment. But this time, silence. Not a word from Oprah, not a single post from Tyler Perry, not even a subtle emoji from her Hollywood circle. It was as if everyone knew mocking Meghan Markle had officially become mainstream entertainment worldwide. Meanwhile, the memes just kept rolling in, relentless and savage. One viral tweet read, "South Park just did more damage to Meghan's brand in 22 minutes than the palace could in 2 years." Another quipped, "If she wanted privacy, maybe she shouldn't have walked into Paris with a camera crew documenting every single step." And the more Meghan's team tried to contain the chaos, the worse it became. Her PR team reportedly reached out to media outlets, begging them to avoid platforming misogynistic content. But that only fueled the fire, because when South Park is involved, trying to silence the joke automatically becomes part of the joke. And that's exactly what happened. By the very next morning, social media users had crowned Meghan as the Duchess of Desperation, plastering the nickname across platforms, captions, and even fashion blogs. The ones who usually tread lightly began running side-by-side comparisons of Meghan's real Paris outfits with the cartoon version, cheekily captioned, "Art imitates life." For Meghan, who has spent years reinventing herself from royal rebel to global influencer, this moment was far more than a meme. It was a stinging reminder that her grip on the public narrative might finally be slipping, maybe for good and maybe forever. And perhaps the most ironic twist, Meghan had reportedly been in early talks with a prestigious French luxury label before Paris Fashion Week, hoping to launch a collaboration. But after the South Park storm hit, the brand quietly pulled out. As one insider put it, no brand wants to become part of the punchline. So there she was, in her sprawling California mansion, watching the world laugh while her Paris dream crumbled into yet another devastating PR disaster. The comeback that was supposed to rewrite her legacy had instead reignited her worst nightmare. But Meghan, being Meghan, wasn't about to sit back and take it. Not this time. Behind the tears and headlines, sources say she began making calls. To her lawyers, to her PR strategists, even to an old Hollywood ally, determined to fight back and reclaim her narrative once again, no matter the cost. If there's one thing Meghan Markle hates more than bad press, it's being laughed at. And this time, the laughter was global. Within 48 hours of South Park's Savage Duchess of Desperation episode airing, Meghan reportedly went into full-blown crisis mode inside her Montecito mansion. Eyewitnesses claimed the normally serene Sussex estate, usually a backdrop for Netflix specials and rose wine photo shoots, had transformed into a full-blown PR war room. The air was thick with tension, calls ringing at all hours. Meghan's personal team scrambled, Harry paced, the mood drenched in panic. She was livid. One insider told The Sun, it wasn't just about being mocked. She felt betrayed. Betrayed by Hollywood. Betrayed by her friends. Betrayed by the deafening silence that surrounded her completely. And that silence was crushing because, unlike last time, when South Park's worldwide privacy tour sparked brief celebrity defenses, this time, no one touched the controversy. Everyone, from fashion editors she once courted to the talk show hosts she charmed, kept their distance. The clip had gone too viral. This wasn't just trending, it was a cultural moment. Even late-night hosts jumped in with tongue-in-cheek commentary. One joked, "South Park didn't create Meghan's Paris moment, they just filmed it better." And that one stinged deep. According to royal sources, Meghan's team immediately contacted attorneys to explore defamation or privacy violations, but the advice was brutal. South Park was untouchable. Parody is legally protected, so if Meghan couldn't fight them in court, she'd do what she does best: fight them through the media. Within days, an anonymous source close to the Duchess began feeding sympathetic quotes to glossy magazines. Articles appeared with headlines like "Meghan's pain, inside her private battle and after new cartoon humiliation, Duchess of strength, how Meghan Markle continues to rise above hate." But instead of inspiring sympathy, the reaction backfired. Commenters flooded the articles with mockery. "She's literally suing cartoons," one wrote. Another sneered, "If she spent half as much time laughing at herself as she does calling lawyers, she'd actually be likeable." Even worse, South Park's official social media account weighed in, responding to one of those sympathetic headlines with a single savage line: "When they tell you to stop watching, but it's about you." Oof! That single post racked up over 1 million likes in hours, and the internet erupted again. Trey Parker and Matt Stone didn't even need interviews. Their silence became the statement. Their indifference was louder than Meghan's outrage, and it hit harder than any headline, tweet, or commentary could ever hope to. Meanwhile, Meghan's team scrambled, trying to pivot with new empowerment appearances and pitching feelers to friendly talk shows. But it was clear the cultural tide had turned. Even longtime defenders were rolling their eyes. One Hollywood producer was quoted saying, "The thing about Meghan is, she doesn't know when to stop. She could have ignored it, and the internet would have moved on. But by reacting, she fed the fire. And that fire spread fast." South Park fans were combing the episode frame by frame, hunting for hidden Easter eggs, mocking every corner of Meghan's life, old scandals, and even minor details in her public appearances. In one savage scene, the cartoon Duchess peers into a mirror labelled "Reflections of Royalty," only to see herself holding a script titled "The Meghan Show," a jab at her rumoured Netflix project. Another scene shows her handing out jars of jam to cartoon celebrities, who promptly toss them into the trash, a cruel nod to her failed American Riviera orchard brand. It wasn't just parody, it was annihilation, executed with surgical precision and scathing creativity. And yet Meghan refused to give up. Sources say she began drafting a public empowerment essay about resilience and bullying, planning to publish it through major outlets like Vogue or The Cut. The essay, insiders said, would focus on how women in power are too often caricatured or punished for ambition, positioning her as a victim of systemic misogyny wrapped in cartoon humour. But when her draft circulated behind the scenes, editors balked. One source told Page 6 it could make her look fragile, exactly what South Park was mocking and exploiting relentlessly. So the essay was quietly shelved. Meanwhile, South Park's viewership skyrocketed. The Duchess of Desperation episode became one of their most streamed installments of the year, and every headline Meghan's team tried to bury only pushed the story further into the spotlight. Then came the final humiliation, a red carpet event in Los Angeles. A paparazzi shouted at Harry and Meghan as they exited their car, "Hey Meghan, will there be a season 2 of your South Park episode?" The crowd laughed. Cameras flashed. Harry's jaw clenched. Meghan's face froze. That was the moment she realised this wasn't just another tabloid scandal. This was cultural ridicule on an entirely new, merciless level. She couldn't spin it, couldn't manage it, couldn't outrun it. Back in Montecito, insiders say Meghan spiraled. She reportedly cancelled scheduled Zoom meetings, avoided calls, and spent days off social media. Harry tried to console her, insisting the backlash would fade, but it didn't fade. It mutated. The South Park controversy had reopened the floodgates. Old clips, old interviews, even stories from her pre-royal life resurfaced across every platform imaginable. Life began circulating again. Her acting days, Hollywood connections, estranged family. The internet had rediscovered its favourite sport, dissecting Meghan Markle. Just like that, the Duchess who once commanded global fascination was now a punchline, #trending worldwide. And the twist? Not Meghan, but the palace. As chaos unfolded, royal sources leaked quiet, pointed comments to the press. One insider told The Telegraph, "The palace has no comment on fictional portrayals, but one might say satire often reveals truth more sharply than speeches." Even the royals were laughing, and that hurt the most. For Meghan, this wasn't just about a cartoon. It was about legacy, power, and public perception. She had spent years trying to position herself as the modern Diana, a woman wronged by the institution. Now she was the Duchess who couldn't stop suing jokes. the optics were disastrous. The narrative had shifted from brave truth-teller to fragile celebrity, and in Hollywood, perception is everything. One insider bluntly said, "If you become the person everyone's afraid to joke about, you're untouchable. But if you become the joke itself, you're finished." For Meghan Markle, that realization hit like a thunderclap. The Paris dream was dead. The comeback had collapsed. The South Park parody that started as just another cartoon had detonated one of the biggest PR meltdowns of her career, leaving her scrambling to regain control of a narrative gone viral. But this wasn't the end, not yet. Behind the scenes, Meghan was already plotting her next move, something bolder, something she believed could turn humiliation into triumph. What she didn't know was that it would only make things worse, amplifying every eye roll and snide meme across the internet. If you enjoyed this story and want more scandalous updates, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment below.